Hello guys, today I'm talking to Marie-Pierre and could you please start telling us about yourself, a few words, and what you do, your profession?
So my name is Marie-Pierre. I am more than 40 years old. I teach English now in a secondary school, high school in M-me in France. And I've been teaching for about 17 years, 18 years now in France. And that's it.
What do you like most about teaching?
What I like most about languages is the fact that I can communicate with someone who doesn't have the same culture or the same language. And I quite like the idea of helping someone doing the same. And one thing I like most is when they understand one nuance in a word or one way something works. And I'm quite happy when I think that I helped that understanding at some point. Yes.
What are the most challenging aspects of teaching?
I think very often what the pupils themselves think of what they can do or can't do. Making them think that they're able to do something when they believe they don't. I think that's challenging, when they think they're just nobodies and with no capacities. That's the most difficult. And in some cases, motivating these ones is the most challenging. Yeah. Someone who's not interested in it, that's the challenge.
And how do you do that? How do you motivate them?
I try and get something that interests them. If I know that they like something, I try and deal with that. If it's music, if it's computer games, if it's YouTube channels, or pretending, or I don't know. I try and reach them through their interests, personal interests. And I'm very energetic as well. So I think my energy is kind of trying to drive them with me. Yeah, that's something that I think is motivation.
Do you thoroughly prepare each lesson? Is it important to prepare, to have a detailed lesson plan?
I don't always have a detailed lesson plan, but I do know where I'm heading at or what I'm heading at. At the beginning, when I started, it was very important because I needed to be sure that I knew that the stages were in the right order, that I was doing it a proper way, or at least a sensitive way. Now it's more of a habit, but I do like sometimes to take the time to detail it very well, just to see if what I'm doing makes sense. Because sometimes I do things because it's a habit, and then I realize that maybe it's not that useful, or maybe I should do it after or before it makes more sense. So it depends, really. Sometimes I just want to do that document, and I see and I improvise, but other times for some specific exercises or activities, I might plan them very carefully.
Okay. And we as teachers, do we simply have to teach to give that knowledge, or we have some other special mission?
I think it depends who you're teaching. But as a secondary school teacher, I think we are helping them or getting them to become citizens. So I think we are part of helping them deciding who they want to be or what they should be according to themselves.
Okay.
Having the hindsight, thinking before doing, because you have to do that when you communicate with anyone. But I do think that being in the classroom with them, having rules, but that everybody abides by, but because they understand them and agree with them, and sometimes want to change. For example, I'm not against pupils coming to me and saying, I can't do it the way you want me to. Would it be okay if I? And then it's changing the rules, but if in the end they do what I want, even if it's a difference. So learning how to negotiate and be someone nice, I think.
Okay,
It's
interesting.
In the class, yeah. But maybe it's because I was in a school with rough kids, so being just a member of society was something we were working on, and I still think wherever you are, it's something to work on. You work as a group, not just an individual. You have to keep your personality is important, but taking the others into account in the group is important, I think.
I think you're a great teacher.
Maybe.
Okay, when you speak about becoming fluent, is it important to live in the country of the language, or you can achieve fluency living in France, for example?
I have no idea. I think it does help to be completely immersed in the language and in the way people live, and to know when you say what, at what occasions, so that you're understood. Because you can say things, but if it's not the right person you say it to, then there's a misunderstanding. But maybe if you're very thorough and very regular, you might be able to become fluent because you impose something on yourself, a routine. If you communicate with people from home, but with people, native speakers of the language you want to learn, you might be able to do it just from your living room. But I doubt that, because I think you limit the situations and you don't live the situations one after the others, and you just go on, you just stop, go back to your language, and then I think it's good not to switch for a long time to your native language. I think that's when you get fluent.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Don't know.
I totally agree. So if I'm in my room but I communicate with a native speaker, it might help?
It does. It does. Native speakers. I think it helps to speak with anyone who speaks English. But then you're fluent in the language that might be spoken only by the people you've spoken to. Fluent is being able to communicate quickly, or nice with them, and be able to explain anything you want and understand all the others are saying. So
Without a delay?
I think so. Fluency, real fluency is that. Maybe I'm mistaking it with bilingual. Maybe fluent, you don't have to understand immediately. I don't know. See what I mean?
No, I think fluency means that you don't need time to answer.
You don't understand everything. Is that it? Yeah. I think you might, but you might be fluent if you don't live in the country. I think you can't be exposed to that many situations, and you're lacking situations. But I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 2 more questions. So,
then we're done.
So how is a language learning different now from what it used to be?
Now we are trying to lead the pupils to enact situations that we lead in real life, like authentic situations that could happen. Whereas before we learned texts, we had to be good at grammar, but it didn't care if we communicated with anyone. We are acting now. I think it's more interesting and it's more realistic as well. Like, if you do something where you have to book train tickets, but something could happen like that, it's just using the wish, expressing wishes, but in a real situation. So I think it's more effective, more realistic, and more interesting for pupils. It has changed, yes.
Which is good. And I think the approach changed. Oh, hello there. Now it's more student-centered.
It is definitely more student-centered. It's not the teacher giving you knowledge. The pupils can find out themselves. If they listen to something or read something, they can reuse what they've learned on their own or what they found. They can look for things as well. But we've got more tools, and the vision, at least in France, the vision of languages has changed. At the beginning, it was taught the way you taught Latin. So you just learnt things by heart, and you just changed pronoun or the verb, and you just kept repeating and repeating. It was more systematic. we did have a period of behaviorism. We just repeated it on and on. I don't know if it was effective, but now it's more interesting, at least, I think.
Okay. Last question. The more languages.
It's not comfortable to stay, don't you? It's a new person, you try.
So beautiful.
It's got a very soft fur.
Is it true the more languages you learn, the easier it is to learn a new one?
I think so, because I think once you've understood how another language works and it works independently from your own, you've understood that you can just drop your language and think directly in another one. And you've also learned different mechanisms. And if you learn a third one, because you've got your native one and then the next one, you're ready to accept that you've got to drop something. And the mechanisms you've used for the other one, you might have to use it, or you might have a bit of both. And I think it's easier and easier, yes, I think so. You find the mechanisms more quickly. I think you adapt more quickly as well to the way the language works. Or you are more aware of the fact that some words don't have the same significance or don't exist in your language. And I think it helps a lot, yes.
Okay. Well, that was the interview with Marie-Pierre, a teacher of English here in France. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them below. And thank you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. It was a real pleasure. Thank you.
The pleasure was mine.
Cheers. That's strange.
Okay.
I'm not a YouTuber. Just move your legs to go.
I just need to make sure I filmed it.